Hope everyone's having a beautiful day. We're continuing with the laws of Lashon Harah, Hey Daled 5, chapter 5, halacha number 4. V'kol zeh kasavnu, afilu im lo amar alav, rak she'einenu chacham be'enei ha'olam. Everything we've been discussing is, even if you say, we were talking about where you say somebody is not so bright, he's not such a wise person, that's forbidden. And everything that we've mentioned earlier is, even if you say he's not a wise person when it comes to worldly topics. V'kol shechein im siper al ish shesofrim anshe ha'ir shehu chacham b'Torah v'hu amar alav she'einenu chacham kol kach rak ma'at hu yodea b'Torah. Even if you say, all the more so if you say somebody is not a Torah scholar, where people think that he knows a lot of Torah, and you say, yeah, he really doesn't know so much Torah, he just knows a little bit. V'ayid ezeh nismayid madrigaso be'eineihem. And through that, his stature is decreased in through what you said. That's for sure the sin of Lashon Harah. Va'afilu emes, even if it's true. Kevin shekavanaso lelo to'ala, since your purpose of saying that is there's no positive purpose, rak lahashvelas chaver, just to denigrate your friend, to bring him down. So it's obviously forbidden when you say that, because whatever situation this person finds himself, it could cause him pain. So just like it's forbidden to say someone's not a wise person, so too, or all the more so, it's forbidden to say somebody is not a Torah scholar when people think he's a Torah scholar. And just to say, yeah, I'm not so impressed with that guy. He knows a little bit, but he doesn't know that much. I'll give you two examples. Let's say there's a rabbi in the city, and you say, he's not so great when it comes to Torah scholarship. He knows a few of the Jewish laws, and what he needs. The rabbi knows some of the common questions that come up, but he really doesn't know that much. Even if it's true, even if this rabbi isn't so knowledgeable, nevertheless, it's Lashon Harah Gemurhu. It is totally the sin of Lashon Harah. On a Torah level. You cause a lack of honor to this rabbi. And you go into his livelihood. And not only that, not only do you put his livelihood at risk, right? Maybe he'll be fired now, because now the whole community is talking about this guy that he doesn't know Torah so well. But not only that, you're going to lessen the honor of Torah. Like we mentioned earlier, and the fulfillment of the mitzvahs, right? If you say about a rabbi, even if it's true that he does not know the halacha so well, he doesn't know the Jewish law, then when you say that, people aren't going to take him so seriously anymore. People are going to not listen to him when he encourages the community to follow the Torah. They're not going to take him seriously because, what does he know? I heard that he doesn't know so much, so I'm not going to take him seriously. So through that, you're causing directly that people will not follow the Torah as much. And obviously this isn't talking about where, a rabbi says something which is heretical, or, he makes a mistake, you can... Or there's something really bad about him, where we said you could tell your student or your child to stay away from him. That's if he's really bad. We're talking about the rabbi doesn't know as much as people believe he does. You're not allowed to say he doesn't know that much. Another case. Let's say you have a new married fellow. He just moves into town with his wife. What's going to happen to him, right? There's a new guy comes into town. Let's say he learns in the yeshiva, or people think he knows a lot of Torah, and you start saying, yeah, this guy doesn't know so much Torah. You're going to cause a lack of honor for him. His in-laws are going to now say, oh, look who our daughter married. We thought he was such a Torah scholar, and he's not so great. He's going to be so embarrassed, you can't cause more pain and embarrassment more than that. Now, the Chavetz Chaim mentioned that in this chapter he's going to speak out a lot of examples which we might have thought were obvious, but he says that the reason is because even though these things are obvious, he wanted to strengthen this idea to let everybody know how damaging, these instances of Lashon Hara is. But now he says, it's hard for me to bring every single example, but the wise person should become wise. He just brought these examples to make people aware of the things that could happen. And you should use he's saying you should use your own intelligence and figure out, all the bad things that can happen when you speak Lashon Hara and when you say something negative. And again, these things aren't like super duper negative, right? The whole point of this chapter is that even if you don't say something as horrible as the guy's a thief or a murderer, you're just saying, yeah, he's a nice guy, but he's not so bright. He's not such a wise person. Even that is a big problem. V'da'od, dehu adin imisaper al uman lifnei anashim she'enenu uman karoi, right? The same thing. If you say in front of a worker that he's not such a great worker, right? He is a mechanic, and you tell people, yeah, he's not really such a good mechanic, for no purpose. Gamze Lashon Hara Gemur. This is total Lashon Hara. The bezeh bevadei shayar gamkin kol hatamim v'imeinenu mechaven bezeh b'chol hanal lignoso rak letoelos yivur hakol yimetz Hashem lekaman b'chalal tes b'hilchos rechilos. We're going to explain different details about that in Klal Tes of Hilchos Rechilas. So this is the case of, right, let's say you go to a mechanic, and he did a decent job, but you weren't super happy. If you go, you're not allowed to go and tell people this, mechanic's not so great, because he's going to lose business. He could lose his entire parnasa, his entire livelihood, and that is a big problem. Now, we're going to learn, if the guy messed up your car, and now your friend is going to that mechanic, we're going to talk under what conditions to be met where you're allowed to go and tell your friend what he did wrong. But there's a Facebook group here in town that's actually pretty good. They make sure that you can give reviews of businesses, but I believe they don't let you say something which is totally negative about a local business, because now, even if you had a bad experience, let's say with the mechanic, let's say he really messed up your car, and then you go on Facebook and say he messed up my car and it was just a fluke, really he's a good guy. It could be you just destroyed his entire livelihood, and now he'll get in a fight, he won't be able to support his family, he might get divorced, and you could just ruin a person's life like that. So you have to be very careful about how you report negatively on a business, and make sure that if you are reporting negatively on a business, that you do it in the proper way, which we're going to learn, God willing, in the future, all of the details of when you're allowed to say something negative about someone's business. And he says also, we're going to talk about later, let's say, we were mentioning about not talking about a rabbi, and to say that he, or a person, and say he doesn't know so much Torah. But he said he does talk about a case where, let's say they're looking into hiring a rabbi and there's something really, really bad about him. Then also that's a similar case with the certain conditions you're allowed to tell. So again, you shouldn't think that, when we're learning Sefer Chavetz Chaim, that every single case, anytime you say something negative, is totally prohibited. There are certain cases to warn somebody from danger and warn somebody from a financial loss where you're allowed to say it. And again, we're going to get to that later. That's one of the later chapters where we really get into details of when you're allowed to do that. But the idea is that we should all be careful and think before we say something negative, is this something that I'm allowed to say? We shouldn't, people often think that, I had a bad experience at a business, therefore I can go right on Facebook about it. Well, maybe, I'm not saying you can't, but the likelihood is that you probably cannot do that, and there are many conditions of when you're allowed to do that. And the point is that we should take out of this, just in general, that we have to be very, very careful when we're saying something negative about somebody, because oftentimes it's totally prohibited. Even when we think in our minds that it's justified to share the negative information, oftentimes it is totally prohibited. So in this case, just to say about a rabbi, again, and all of these things is even when it's true. We're not even talking about lies. Like, you say about the rabbi that he only knows a few halachas. He only knows basic Jewish law. He doesn't know much beyond that. Totally prohibited. Or you say about some guy that he's not such a wise person. Even if it's true, even if he's not such a wise person, you're not allowed to say it. Or you go to the mechanic, again, without all the conditions, and you had a bad experience and he messed up your car. You're not allowed to go tell people. And that was for today. Hope everyone enjoys the beautiful weather. Bye.